Hey, what's up, guys? Poseidon here. Just wanted to make a really quick video, basically to help new players on how to structure their account when you first start off. Because in my Discord, I've gotten a lot of questions as to, hey, how do I structure my account? What do I do? I'm a new player. I just started. What commanders do I use? What do I focus on? So I thought I would create a video series that would help answer those questions, right? So if you take a look at my account, I've been playing this game for however many days now. What is it, 1270? So on this account particularly, I have other accounts too, but for you as a brand new person, you just teleported into your first map and you're excited and you want to take over the world and you want to start an alliance, slow down there, buddy. All right, there's a couple of considerations we have to talk about. So the first thing is your city. Obviously, that's going to be a huge point of emphasis. You need to, when you get in game, to upgrade your city so you can do things, right? Because if you don't upgrade your buildings in your city, you won't be able to do anything. So every city in your building has a level, right? And you start off at level 1, you got to get to 25. So your goal as a new player is to get your city hall to 25 as much as you can. Now, you might say, Poseidon, why would I do that? Well, here's the thing. If you take a look at your city hall, there are various benefits and bonuses that you get when you upgrade your city hall. So you go through the Stone Age at level 1. Basically all your buildings look super prehistoric. Then you hit the Bronze Age at level 4. Get an upgrade to the look aesthetic of your buildings. Then level 10, you enter the Iron Age. You're pretty much going to be there till City Hall 16, where you enter the Dark Age, and then from Dark Age you enter the Feudal Age, right? So at certain intervals along the way, you're going to notice that you enter into a different age. When you enter into a different age, the aesthetics of your building will change. More importantly than that, your troop capacity is tied to your city hall level. So if you have a low city hall level, you won't be able to farm efficiently or attack efficiently for that, or do anything in this game efficiently for that matter, right? So you must focus on getting your city hall as close to 25 as possible. If you're a spender, obviously you can just take out your wallet, do whatever you want. If you are a free-to-play or low spender, you will need to gather resources to do this, all right? The other thing about your city hall is that it determines how many troops you can dispatch at a given time. So when you just first start at level 1, you can only send out 1 troop dispatch. You want to hurry up and get your city hall to at least city hall 17 as soon as possible. And the reason for that is not only do you enter the Dark Age, but your troop capacity goes up to 57,000 or 64,000, I'm sorry, and you get 4 troops, right? You get to dispatch 4 troops at a time, so you can gather from 4 resource nodes at one time, right? So the quicker you get to 17, the better you're going to be, right? You really want to get to 22, where you can have all 5 of your troop dispatches available to you, because you can farm 5 nodes at any given time, right? So, and then you can have 110,000 troop capacity, which if you're gathering, you don't really need that many troops. On a node you might need between 15 to 17,000 siege units to farm a node, right? So, but you can see why it's advantageous to focus on your city hall. But the problem is the bottleneck is going to be resources and speed ups. And if you're not a spender, you're going to need to do barbarian forts. And another thing you could do is get into a good alliance. And we'll talk about that here a little bit later. But just the first thing you need to do is focus on your city hall, right? Getting that to 17 as quickly as possible. You want to get it to 25, but 17, because all of your troop queues will be available to you, right? So on the way of doing that, you will also need to do research, right? So there's economic and military research that are going to be available to you, and your city hall will dictate how far you can go in the research tree too. So that's another reason why you want to upgrade your city hall as well. Doing research will determine there's two types of research: military and economic. And economic has to do obviously with gathering resources, as you would suspect, right? The better your economic technology is, the better and more efficient you become at farming. Military technology, the more powerful your troops become, and you can unlock different tiers of troops depending on how far you can make it in your technology. T4s is something that you should strive to unlock, and you can do that pretty quickly, usually within your first, I would say, depending on your wallet size, if you're free to play. I mean, if you do the game efficiently, you could do it in your first 3 weeks. You know, maybe more depending on if you're a casual player or not. But you want to make sure you focus on your technology, your gathering, your economic technology first, then your fighting technology. You want to do your military technology just to unlock the troop types. You don't want to farm a lot of farming with T1. I mean, you can, but they don't have, you know, the largest troop load necessarily. So, I mean, you can find that out by just going to the siege units, and then you could look at the information about them, right? You can see, whoops, where'd it go? So if we go here, we can take a look, and we could look at T1s, right? So T1s, why isn't it? Okay, so T1s, we got 28, a load of 28, right? So the more load you have, the more resources you can, you know, that unit can carry. We got, you know, and as you go up in the type of siege unit, you know, T3s, right? The load goes up. And then you got T4s, right? The load goes up again, and then T5s, right? So you can see why you want to unlock T4s before you really start like farming. I mean, you're gonna have to obviously farm before then, but just unlock T4s as soon as humanly possible. Get your city hall to as close to 25 as you can, right? The second thing you need to do is focus on unlocking your gathering commanders. You see these commanders I have on screen, and the game will allow you to kind of sort through commanders by type. So integration. So we got Joan, she's a gatherer, right? Focus on commanders like this in the early game, and she's good for other stuff besides gathering, but we're going to talk about that in a different video. So Matilda of Flanders, and ideally not, you'll notice that I have these commanders at level 60. You don't need to do that. You can just leave them at level 40 and they will serve you just as well. I have specific circumstances that, you know, led me to make the decision to take them to level 60, but you're going to want to save the experience tomes, because in order to upgrade them you need sculptures and you're going to need tomes, right? You see this experience bar right here? You're going to need those to upgrade these commanders. So don't put universal legendary commander sculptures in a gathering commander. So there are different types of commanders in this game, right? Integration, gathering, and support, like you see these skills up here, that tells you what type of commander they are. So don't put well, these are epic commanders. There's epic commanders in purple. The legendary commanders are in gold, right? Don't put legendary commander sculptures in Syndoc or in any integration or gathering commander, right? You'll get those from gold keys over time for free. All right. So obviously Ishida, Constance, Sakara, all of these are pretty great gathering commanders. So focus on them at first, right? When you first start the game, you're probably gonna be presented with a commander that Cleopatra or Julius Caesar. Don't invest legendary commander sculptures in Julius Caesar. You'll get him over time for free through gold keys. Same thing with Cleopatra. She is not a fighting commander, she is a gathering commander. Julius Caesar is a fighting commander, but he loses value very quick after the first 2 KVKs. He's done, and you're not going to use him again. And KVK, we'll talk about that later on in other videos, but just know, don't invest in these commanders. Just focus on your gatherers, get them up to speed. Okay. The next thing that you need to worry about, if you're wanting to know how to optimize your account, is you want to make sure that you're putting all your daily buffs on. And what I mean by that is, if you go to items and then you go to boosts, you see these tokens here, this 24-hour gold boost, 24-hour stone, 24-hour wood, 24-hour food. What these do is they boost your production of resources in your city. So as time goes on, you see these, you're going to need to collect these. You build these resource nodes in your city. Make sure you're getting them up to their highest level too, so you can have all the resources generating as much as possible. Use those boosts to generate more resources, right? Don't forget to put these on every day. Also, you're going to need this, all right? 24-hour enhanced gathering. That will give you 50% gathering speed for every resource for 24 hours. Please, 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 please don't forget to use this, because this will allow you to collect more resources faster. So that's a little tidbit. And the other thing is, like, if you want to see how fast you can gather, let's go here and it'll automate, the game will by default select gatherers. Now obviously we don't want to farm with knights. I don't know why it's giving me knights, but we don't farm with knights. All right, we don't farm with otherwise, I forgot the other word for these. It's a shame. Cavalry. We don't farm with cavalry. All right, we don't farm with infantry. We don't farm with archers, right? We farm with, drum roll please, siege units. But it looks like for some reason we don't have any siege units, which is odd, because that's like really odd. We should have siege units. Oh, I know why we don't have any siege units, because I used all my siege units in the node. Oh, duh. 310,000 siege for 20 million resources. That's why we don't. I'm like, where the heck is my siege units? Okay, so this is bad because I can't necessarily show you. I mean, it's gonna take longer to collect and gather resources when you have to use other types of troops. You can see my load is 318,000 down here. And then if you look over here, this number here, it tells you how fast, your speed and your troop load, right? So if you play around with certain commanders, you'll see that you can get this number and this number. Well, maybe not. You can get these two numbers up to find the best mismatch of commanders possible to, farm a given resource. The other thing is that each gathering commander has its own set of skills. Now you'll have gatherers who are specialized in gathering each resource type. There's 4 types, right? Food, wood, stone, and gold. Some gatherers focus on food. Some gatherers focus on wood. Some gatherers focus on stone. Some focus on gold. All right. you're going to need to pay attention to their skills so that they can tell you what they're good at gathering, right? Constance is good at gathering wood, right? And she gets 50. So we know that she's, it's the game will not always suggest that you send the best combination. Why is the game suggesting that I send Constance? What are we trying to collect? All right, let's collect this food, and let's see what so they're telling me I should send Constance, even though Constance is for wood, right? And this guy here, Gaius, is for food. So okay, so I need to just swap her out with another commander that loves food, which is not going to be possible because 𝙍𝙄, he's a gatherer that wants to gather food, but he's in the alliance resource node right now, so I can't use him. Who else likes wood? I mean food. Sakara, she's not particularly any type of, but you see my speed went down. So even though this may not be the ideal couple, Constance and Gaius, but it may be the best couple that I have currently because all the rest of my gatherers are already out. Oh, wait, Sundok's coming home right now. But you get the point. Like, mix and match to see the best combination, the most ideal combination for the resource type that you're gathering, so that you can always be able to gather the fastest. Also, eventually you're going to be able to put gear onto your gatherers, right? Because there is gathering gear. We'll talk about that on a separate video. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But it makes it so that you gather much more faster. So you're going to want to focus on making some gear for your gatherers at some point, because you can generate way more resources much more faster. All right. And you're going to need resources again to upgrade all your buildings, to do research. Whatever you do in this game is going to require resources. Fighting, I mean, you're going to need billions and billions of resources. And now don't let that scare you, because you'll get some time to accumulate that. But I'm trying to let you know the best way to do that. The other thing that you can do is make sure you get to VIP 15 as fast as possible. This will require some level of spending to do, but you should be able to get to VIP 15 rather quickly. And what that does is it makes you gather faster. So we're just talking about gatherers, right? We want to make sure we are efficiently positioning our accounts. So you also need it for building speed, you also need it for research speed, and you also need it for hospital capacity, march speed, healing speed, training speed, everything else you can think of. VIP 15, you need to really focus, your actual focus should be to get to VIP 15 as quickly as possible before you do the bulk of upgrading your City Hall 20 to 25. Right, you can get to maybe like City Hall 10, 15, but after that, I would really highly recommend you get to VIP 15 before you really try to start making your final push to get all your buildings to 25 and get all your research past T4s really done and your economic research done, because this is going to save you a ton of speed ups. It's going to save you a ton of time getting to VIP 15 first. Okay, keep that in mind. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you join an alliance that spends money, right? Because what'll happen is you'll get these gifts over here, right? So, and these gifts, could give you speed ups, right? Which is really important. We just talked about your bottlenecks that are going to occur in this game when you go to upgrade buildings and do things. Your bottleneck is going to be resources and speed ups. And if you don't have the money to spend on the game, you need to be in an alliance that does spend money, because you get free gifts as a result. Every time someone buys a pack, chests are, given to everybody in the alliance, right? So get in a good alliance. I know you might be new to the game, and I know you might say, oh, I want to start my own alliance and I want to be the leader. Listen, in a lot of cases in this game, kingdoms are already decided who's going to do what. And even if your kingdom is new, there's probably going to be some whales that, you know, travel back with younger accounts that can easily take over the kingdom, and you're going to end up in somebody else's empire anyway. So there's rarely going to be an instance where you get to come in, start an alliance, and lead and take over and be the king of the kingdom. I know I had that ambition too. Not going to happen. All right. This is a game where you get down, lay down. If you don't have the money to spend, definitely give up on that ambition. Kind of tangential there, but still, just put your selfish ambition aside. You're not going to be likely the king of a kingdom. Now, what you can do is get, like I said, join a good alliance that spends money, get those chests, work your way up through leadership, and maybe they will rotate you. If you're in the kingdom and you show yourself worthy enough and you watch enough of my videos to figure out what to do, you'll be get promoted to a king rotation or something. Who knows? But we'll talk about that in a later video. The next objective is to use your AP wisely. Okay, so what is AP? You see this little green bar over here where it says action points? You need action points to carry out things in the game, like kill barbarians, right? These little things right here, these are barbarians. When you kill these things, you get some level of reward for doing that, but it uses an AP. You see how when I attack a barbarian, watch the AP gauge up here go down by a certain amount. So every time you attack a barbarian, it's like 70 AP, somewhere in there, depending on the type of commander you use. Now, notice I'm using Minamoto and double C, right? 38. So I'm using 38 AP each time I kill a barbarian, right? So the reason you want to kill barbarians is because you get rewards for doing so. When you kill forts, right? You need books of the covenant to upgrade your castle, right? So you get some amount of gems and other rewards too. And you get resources, right? That's for rallying barbarian forts. That's a whole different thing. But the point is, make sure you're killing barbarians and rallying forts. Make sure your AP meter is always low, like always spend it down, never let it get full. But the thing is, don't go into your access reserves, right? Just always spend down, because you want to save these reserves for events like the Korok ceremony and KVK and different other things that are way more important to use your backup replenishment action points for. Especially when you're in home kingdom, I can't reiterate that enough. Do not run through your replenishment AP in home kingdom, right? Just spin down your bar, right? And that's another reason you got to get to VIP 15, because this bar gets bigger as time goes on and you reach higher VIP levels, okay? You can flip your AP into nice rewards depending on how you use it. But you must use it because it's a way to help you get more speed ups, get more gold keys, get more gems, other like little rewards like that that add up over time of 2 or 3 years of you playing this game. All right, the other thing that you need to do is pick the correct civilization. It's a micro optimization, but it will help you nonetheless, because here's the thing. Let's look at the civilizations. So we have a ton of civilizations that offer you certain buffs at certain times, right? And we're not going to go through all of them in this video because that's not what this video is about. But what we will say is that when you are just starting off, depending on what your goal with the account is, having the right civilization is a really good idea because it helps you accomplish your objectives a little bit quicker. It's a micro optimization, but you should consider having your civilization be Spain is a good choice because you get 20% resource production, and your experience gained from killing neutral units, you get 10% experience, and you need that experience to level up your commanders really quickly. The other thing you can do because remember, you need experienced homes to level up your commanders. The other thing you can do to level up your commanders really quickly is kill these every day. Like, well, there's usually altar guardians that are around sanctums and other places like this. When you kill them, they give you a good bit of extra experience. The higher level altar or sanctum you kill for, that's a level 1. You like, once you start to get to like level 2 and above, the more higher the level, the more experience you gain. And then you get over to, you know, like the Great Ziggurat in the middle of the kingdom, which only can be accessed by the ruling alliance, obviously. If you're fortunate enough to be in that alliance, then boom, you can kill these, the altar guardians at the Lost Temple. That will give you the greatest amount of experience if you kill these. Now, some kingdoms, I will warn you, will have rules against killing the altar guardians until a certain time of the day because they want certain buffs to appear. So be aware, in your kingdom they may have rules around killing altar guardians, but especially during KVK. But if you're in a kingdom and it's not KVK, you should be able to kill the guardians of the Lost Temple or any other sanctum or shrine any time of the day to give your troops extra experience. All right, so also another civilization that you may want to consider doing, especially when you first start off, is France, because you get health and healing speed. Well, that's more for like KVK, so your hospital, you can save money, a lot of money, and a lot of speed ups too, because that's really good, France. But in terms of let me see here. There's another civilization that's really good to start off at. So China, building speed, because you remember you're going to want to get your buildings to close as 25 as possible. So you can consider China for the building speed and then switch later. Resource gathering speed, 5%. Japan, right? That's a good, you know, once you get to like City Hall 15, you can consider switching to Korea for the 3% research speed. You know, but I would say Spain, Japan, maybe Britain if you want to train a lot of troops. Yeah, Spain, Japan, or Britain, or France. France is pretty good. Any one of those would work. And they would help you with various things that you need to do in the game. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is making a farm. And what a farm is another account that helps you gather resources. So remember I told you that, you know, the max amount of troops that you can send out, or commanders you can send out at any given time, are 5 commanders, right? All of my gatherers came home, but I could clearly, like, you know, send these right back out. Stone, right? Stone, stone, stone. All right, so I have all 5 commanders out. And each one of these nodes is 945,000 stone. So that means that let's do some math. What's 945 times 4? Because remember, one of my commanders is in the main resource node. So that's 3,780,000 resources, basically every hour that I can, of stone that I can gather. But this is just one account. But imagine if you did that on other accounts. So I have 6 farms. And I know this is tedious because you have to switch back and forth between each of these accounts and send out gatherers multiple times a day. That's very time consuming. Or you can pay Lilith and they will give you a negligible amount of resources to help you along your way. So you got to do this. But if you do this over time for a sustained period of time, guess what? You'll have billions of resources to fight with, and you can transfer those resources to your main account that you fight with in KVK, right? So the more farms you have, the more resources won't be a bottleneck, because remember, you're going to need resources for everything you do, to upgrade your buildings, to do research, to fight, to heal troops. You know, when you get T4s and T5s, especially T5s, the cost to heal troops starts to skyrocket. So you need to look at ways to bring that cost down ultimately. And if not, you don't want to run into bottlenecks. There are certain bottlenecks that are going to be hard to avoid, but get in front of them as quickly as you can by collecting as many resources as you can on your farms and on your mains. All right. Now, I really don't want to farm stone on this account, so I'm going to send all my gatherers back. But I just wanted to use that as an example to show you guys. All right. So that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. We're going to have some more videos in this series. There's probably going to be like 10, 15 videos in this series. I didn't want to make these real long. These are meant to be, you know, like 10, 15 minutes to kind of show you what to do, what not to do, how to build your account. If you're just starting off, if you like Rise of Kingdoms, make sure you like and subscribe, stick around. We're going to be sharing a lot more information on how to optimize and do different things, along with some footage from battle and fighting in our KVK and different other things. So if you love Rise of Kingdoms, like and subscribe. Let's go. I'll see you in the next video.